What is up, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. Today I bring you the 2021 Subaru Crosstrek Outdoor Edition. Alright, so we're in the 2021 Subaru Crosstrek and we are going to take this bad boy off-roading because, well, that's why people buy Subarus, right? We see them in the commercials, so we might as well give it a shot. What I really want to test here is backing this thing up because that's just too much water for this Subaru Crosstrek to go through. But I want to see how low I can go and then try to back out of this thing. Now, luckily we have an excavator to pull us out if we do get stuck, but that's probably as low as I want to go here. And try to go out this thing. Look at that traction. Are you guys watching that? Front and back. Look at that traction. All right, we're braking a little bit. We're braking a little bit. That just means I got to go faster up this thing. So I'm going to roll back down again here. And it's got braking hold, so I'm not, oh, maybe it doesn't. Okay, so I'm slipping a bit. I'm gonna go forward a second here, and I'm gonna get a little bit more momentum up this. And this is just a really, really good four-wheel drive, all-wheel drive system here. So I'm gonna get up this hill now and get some traction. How good is that all-wheel drive system? Don't tell me. Rewind 10 seconds. So we're gonna try to get out this little rut we're in. And the Subaru's out. Man, this Subaru is good. This thing does not want to get stuck. And if you don't believe me, watch that again. So when I have this in X mode, it does have hill descent, so it'll apply brakes everywhere to kind of slow me down, which is nice because it actually does center the car because I'm on a really muddy, slippery terrain. And this review is going to be a little bit different because this review is specifically done in this playground. And the last time we did this was in the Jeep Gladiator where we had jumps, but this one is all really mud and sort of a forest, well, it is a forest terrain. So this is really cool that we have something like this to test out because this is where it really shines. So on the road, it's got CVT, not the biggest fan of CVT as you will see, but this is where it really shines. Right here is the symmetrical all-wheel drive by Subaru has been around forever. And yeah, you know, they just kind of go by the wayside. People are more interested in all the tech in here. But when you add in that they have this waterproof sort of material that they have on the seats, I have some mud on me and I can just wipe it on these seats and then we clean it after, right? It's easy, that way it's easy. But where it really shines is this. This has more than enough power. When I was driving it on the road, I just didn't feel like it had enough power. And again, because of the transmission, but in here, it's got lots of power. But one thing about Subaru that's different than all Japanese manufacturers is that it's built stronger. It's a really solid car. That's how they've kind of prided themselves. And now they're put into a different sort of, the customer is kind of a little bit different. They want more tech and stuff, but the core is still here. Now it does feel like this interior is from like 1995, but that's okay because you have no choice. What else are you gonna buy? You're not gonna take your fancy Volvo in this thing, are you? I wouldn't. Hopefully this jacket's not very scratchy. I had to wear a jacket that was like easy to clean off, you know, like the dust or dirt off your shoulder. So if image and status is not on your criteria, but health, and having a good time off-roading is, and if you're an off-roader, like this thing is plenty good. It's really good. Like, I wouldn't take a Nissan Rogue through this thing, but this all-wheel drive system has passed the test this time. Remember all that rally driving crazy commercials you see back in the day? Yes, they were all Subarus. It has blown me away in how much water this can go through and how easy this gets through any sort of terrain, like any muck or mud. Or the last vehicle we took on something like this was ATVs, because that's where we ride our ATVs in this terrain. And I was a bit hesitant bringing it out here because I thought, man, this thing's gonna get beat up and I might blow the motor, but it's nothing like that. That experience is totally different than what I was expecting. This thing just plows through it. Whew. So I understand why people buy these things. It's not because they actually do this type of heavy quote unquote mudding. It's because the sales guy has told them that it can do this kind of mudding. And they see it in commercials. But this is living proof that it actually is very, very good. Like when people say they have all-wheel drive, it does not compete with this. And that's what Audi's done all these years. They've pushed Quattro, Quattro, Quattro. But you don't think about Quattro and think about this terrain. You think about like Jeeps. And this thing falls in that category. This thing is great in mud. And it's a great, even at this, so right now I'm at a, let's see this incline. Right now I'm at a 10% incline. And it feels like I'm going upward. I don't know if you guys can see that or not with this camera, but I'm going upward and I simply just press the X button, and right now it's got hill descent, so I'm just kind of stuck here, and it holds for 3 seconds. And I hit the gas and a little bit of movement side to side and up the hill. Easy, easy. And it's solid in here. I go over the bumps. It's just a good solid feel. So the suspension has really good reverberate that it doesn't bounce me all over the place. It's just a nice movement. And now this does have blind spot indicator and rear cross traffic alert as safety tech, but the HVAC is very simple and basic. These heated seats, low and high, are plastic buttons. Everything's very plasticky in the sense that just basic. There's nothing high-end in this thing besides the start button, which kind of looks high-end. But other than that, everything's fairly basic. The seats are cool. They remind me like scuba gear. Like, you know when you wear scuba like a wetsuit? That's the type of material it appears to look like, but it's not. It's a lot softer. It kind of resembles leather a little bit, but it is waterproof, and again, it is stain-proof and all that other fun stuff. Now, I'm just so impressed with this all-wheel drive system and the stability it gives me. Yes, Subaru. You got me there, man. You got me there. So if anybody's an outdoorsman or cares about the outdoor that doesn't want a truck, that wants a car that's versatile enough, that's sort of the right size, which is what Subaru calls it, space, then yeah, here we go. Crosstrek is for you. So what you saw there is the meat and potatoes of why you'd buy the Subaru Crosstrek. All right, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for coming. Kidding. This is the funny part. Check these out. These things have halogen headlights in the front, but check this out. How do they have halogen headlights and LED fog lights? So on the front here, they do have this sort of textured plastic all the way around. It's not like a clear or shiny plastic. It's kind of textured. It kind of looks carbon fibery a little bit. And this thing can take a beating. Again, you'll see our drive portion. Now, two things to note on the front of the Subaru. One is the camera that you just saw, and that actually appears in this sort of driver display in the center. And I'll show you guys that when I'm doing the inside stuff. But on the outside here, you've got these two little pieces, and they're called EyeSight. And that's what this is. This is an outdoor edition with EyeSight. Now in the US, you guys don't get the outdoor edition. You have more like a sport edition, which is what this is, and it's missing a few things, like this thing has heated steering wheel, and you guys, you have to get the hybrid to get heated steering wheel. But those are the two things I want to talk about on the outside. Let's get in the motor. Now under the hood here, we have a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder that's brand new. But if I back it up a little bit, let me explain to you guys how Subaru works. Now Subaru has different trim levels, and each trim level sort of has a different motor that comes with it. So if you get the 2 liter, or if you get the convenience, touring, or sport, you get the 2 liter 4-cylinder, makes 152 horsepower and 145 foot-pounds of torque. This specific one, which is on the outdoor and the limited, is a 2.5 liter that makes 182 horsepower and 176 foot-pounds of torque. But this is available in a 6-speed. That is crazy. Like, not this specific one's available in a 6-speed. You can get a Crosstrek with the lower motor in a 6-speed, or you can get in a 7-speed CVT, which they call a linear-tronic. Now, the only way to get this motor is to get the outdoor edition. This is the lowest trim you can get or buy to get this engine. Now, I would suggest getting this motor. I think anything less than this motor is gonna be a little bit weak. Now, I drove this on the street and I realized it has enough power, but when I was off-road with this thing, it had plenty of power. I did not need any more power. So I think this is like right size, as Subaru calls it, in terms of the engine. Well, it is brand new, so I'd expect that. Now, Subaru to me has always been one step up in terms of quality when it comes to Japanese vehicles. And I don't mean quality in terms of reliability. I mean quality in terms of fit and finish and sort of like heavy duty steel that they've used. I used to have a 2015 Impreza WRX STI, and that thing was kind of like a rocket. Like, it was fast as hell, but it was solid. The only thing that I would complain about is the door quality. And I say it, and it's no different in this. The doors are just very light and they feel kind of hollow. So it has a very strong frame, but the doors have always been kind of light, and this is no different. So if you wanted a light door, buy a Subaru. Now, before I jump to the side of this plasma yellow outdoor edition, I want to talk about eyesight, because they are an additional option on, depending what model you get, you can get eyesight. Now, what is eyesight? Well, it's exactly what it sounds like. It basically detects stuff in front of you, so it detects pre-collision braking. It detects brake assist. It steps up the brakes. It has pre-collision throttle management that adjusts the throttle when it looks like you're gonna hit something. It's got adaptive cruise control. It's got lane departure, lane sway, lane keep, and brand new for the Crosstrek, it's got lane centering, which is pretty exciting because Kia has lane centering and we know how good they do, so I'm sure the Subaru is no different. Now, on the side of this outdoor edition, we have 17-inch gunmetal wheels, but also have these sort of fender flares that sort of pop out in this plastic material that falls from the front that has that texture on it, which is kind of cool. And they're not round, they're sort of cut in weird ways to give it some odd shapes. Now, one of the key pieces of this is because it's designed to be outdoor, these are monster strong roof rails, and they actually look really good on this thing. I'm not sure if you guys like it or not. A lot of people hate this color, others love it. Where are you guys at in the spectrum of liking this thing? Comment below, let me know. But let's take a look at the back. Now, the back of this thing to me really shines because this is outdoorsy. Like, everything about this is outdoorsy, you know, because it's an outdoor edition. Very light, very, very light. Like, and I'll prove to you because look, one finger, baby finger. And I ain't exactly some sort of muscle guy right here. One baby finger. Yep, I'll do it about 30 times to prove to you how light this thing is. Now, if you think this thing has no style, you might have a point. Except there's a piece here that has lots of style, and that is the color of Subaru. Look at that thing. That is beautiful. And there's a piece inside I cannot wait to show you, but let's finish on the outside first. They do have this shark fin antenna on the back and this sort of extended spoiler in piano black that pulls it all together. Remember, this thing is priced at $22,995, and this model in Canadian is $29,000, just under 30 grand. That is cheap. Cheap. Being that this is an outdoor edition, there's a lot of tie downs, lots of hooks in the vehicle. So I want to talk about depth. How much depth do we have? So again, this is sort of important to know. You've got about 32 inches of depth with the seat up, and with the seat down, right to the rear center console, you have 65.5 inches. So see if that works for you. So those front headlights being halogen really get me because these things are LED. Check them out. They've got its own on and off switch. That is pretty cool. On the one side, not on this side. I'm not sure why they forgot about this side. Now, interesting enough that those backlights you saw on the tailgate remind me of another car, and that car is the Bronco Sport because they also have an interior very similar to this, and they do have removable seats just like this. These covers are removable, as you can see, because there is a zipper here. That is pretty cool. I like it. Except, what happened to anything back here? There is absolutely nothing back here. There is no USBs. There is nothing. Zero, zilch, nada. But there's that cool carbon fiber look here. Over to the front. Now, these seats are very, very comfortable, and I really like this material they use on these seats because they are totally waterproof, as you see in the drive. But inside, there's some pieces that they've spent the money on. Now, these paddles, again, because of CVT, there's no real gears in it, but the quality of these paddles are really, really good. They're actually better than my R8, which is really weird to say. Mine are round. These things are sharp, jagged, and they're pretty cool. This does have heated steering wheel. You're welcome, we're in Canada. But the heated steering wheel heats only the sides. It doesn't actually heat the top, which is sort of weird, but it does have this really cool new age color. Now this is an awesome color because you can see lots of kitchen cabinets with this yellow sort of, it's not really plasma yellow. Plasma yellow is the color of the car and the stitching is all plasma yellow, but this exact color is more like a bronze gold, which is pretty awesome. Whoever put this on Subaru, I like ya. Now speaking of paddles, you can't use the shifter over here. You put it in drive and then over to M for manual, and then you have to use the paddles, which is nice. They force you to use the paddles as opposed to just using the shifter to shift gears. Now, as far as the steering wheel goes, I really like all these physical buttons you push down on it. It does have all your safety on the right here along with your eyesight. Remember the eyesight thing? That's all here, and it does have SI, which is your driving modes, right on the dash there. So it is nice. However, this interior looks like it belongs in 1995. There's a lot of stuff here that's very basic. And it's probably because Subaru's always kind of been practical. There hasn't really been a tech company. They've just been practical, and they've taken the tech aspect of it and covered it all up in a safety ball. So it's basically very physical, practical buttons and safety along with it. They've sort of separated it, made it very obvious to clients. And that basically speaks to me when I'm sitting in here. I see very physical buttons, like even the 1980 to 1990 heated seat buttons. You got to see these things. This is very, very economical. So they take some stuff that has worked for them for years and years and years, and they haven't changed that. And that's kind of cool. And that's the fact of Subaru. Subaru's kind of been like that. Under the radar, practical, safe, reliable, kind of bulletproof. And you know what? I looked on their website and they've got the highest residual value on the market. I think it's because it's consistent, right? So it's consistency is key. So 3 final unique things about this Subaru Crosstrek. Number 1, I do like the fact these door handles are full black. They're not chrome, they're black. That is a really good design cue. Number 2, on this 8-inch screen, which by the way, if you don't get nav, you don't get the upgraded sound. Kind of weird. But this screen, when you turn the volume up, it actually covers the screen with the volume sound that you're at. So if you're looking at something and you turn it up, this engulfs the screen by showing you what volume level you're at. And finally, they have a button called View on the steering wheel, and you hit it and you get the front-facing camera. That is pretty cool. Now the front camera is sort of basic. It's cool that it has it, and it gives you that dimension of where you're at, but the rear camera is much better quality. These floor mats are made from recycled material, which is, you know, Subaru-like. Hope you liked this video. We had a great time here, fun playground, a lot of zipping, and the Subaru pushed through. It pushed through. Good job, Subaru. Get you on the next one. And hey, don't forget to subscribe right down there. Not that hard.